All right, December 23rd, getting really close to the holidays here. Leg day, fourth week of the deadlift cycle. I'm going to start with the deadlift cycle. If you are cycling, this is definitely a change of pace here for you guys. You're going to do singles in only 15 reps. So my thought process here was that deadlifting, I've always been very cautious on doing, we've never done a full 12-week deadlift cycle for a lot of reasons. And I'm still kind of skeptical, not on like an individual level, but in a group setting. Like it's a lot, and it's a lot of repetition, and it's just not a movement that a lot of people are super technical at, and it only takes one little slip up in the middle of a deadlift for you to like maybe pull a muscle or strain a muscle, and I don't want to knock people out of the idea of never doing deadlifts. I think a lot of people, that happens to a lot of people. We get PTSD from a back strain or a muscle pull, and we just don't ever do deadlifts again, and they're just far too valuable for people to have that mindset. So I figure a couple weeks in here where we're limiting the amount of hinging at your hip would be good. So instead of having like this full-blown 5 sets, yada yada, tons and tons of weight, you're just gonna do 15 reset deadlifts and singles, right? So that's kind of what this is. I didn't write a reset deadlift because it's just a single, but same thing. You're literally going to do a reset deadlift, and the goal is flawless technique, flawless off the ground, generating power off the ground. Order of operations is golden. Everything's engaged every single time, and this is not for time. So although it's going to go by quickly, I don't want you to try to approach this as getting through it as fast as possible, because that's not the goal. So moving a decent amount of weight, 75 to 80% isn't nothing. But again, volume is way down, which leads to this. A good opportunity to work on, the anterior side of your body, your quads. So front squats, step ups, reverse lunges. We're going to get all the quad work, glute work, make up for the lack of that. The first 2 weeks of the cycle, we did do some front squatting in week 3, if you're even taking part in the cycle. If you're not taking part in the cycle, this part of the workout is cool too. So I'm excited for this. It flows really well. I wanted to give you guys some kind of like upbeat, transitional, heavy movement stuff before we go into the holidays. I know a lot of people just take off for the holidays, or they travel for the holidays, and maybe just doing like a lifting session isn't something necessarily that sits well with you. So you'll get plenty here. So the thought process is 8 rounds, 4-minute EMOM. So each number or each numeral is a 4-minute EMOM. So you'll do 4 minutes on the bike. You got flexibility in choosing how many calories you'd like to get down on the bike. You can make this as easy or as hard as you'd like to make it. And maybe you can make adjustments after round number 1 potentially. But you're only going to do 2 rounds of each of these. So, play testing round 1 isn't super ideal. So you want to be as precise as you can, at least on the first go, and then make obviously the adjustments you need to on round number 2, as that's your last round. But you got calories biked for a 4-minute EMOM. You got walking lunges for a 4-minute EMOM. You're just going to count them and kind of like in your lane doing not shuttles, but not counting as shuttles, just counting as numbers or each rep. So 40 to 80 for those, and 40 to 80 for the step overs gives you somewhere in the concept of like 10 to 20 per minute if you want to look at it that way. And you're going to kind of pick what rep count or volume works for you based off of maybe how conditioned you are or how hard you'd like to try, or if you want it to be dictated by your weight, you guys can kind of mold your rep count and volume around as much load as you'd like to move. So you can manipulate this to fit different modalities based on whatever it is you want to achieve. And again, this is why I think these videos are really helpful, as you guys can kind of walk into this with an idea of what you're going to do already. Again, both same concept for the walking lunges and the step overs. Remember, step overs, you got to get up and over the bench or the box. Again, same concept, right? You can base it off of height, you can base it off of weight, you can base it off of speed. Maybe you're somebody who just wants to get more comfortable getting up and over the bench or the box rather than just worrying about how much weight you're moving. So you can play with that a little bit. And then the clean to shoulder, it fits really well in here because we haven't done anything hinging related. And I know the ski erg is there, but it's not quite the same. You're not hinging to the ground. Hopefully you're not getting close to hinging all the way to the ground on the ski erg. And the ball clean to shoulder does that, and it forces you, in theory, to stabilize and show that you have control with an elevated heart rate. And I like movements like that. And it fits right in line with the kind of the constant movement, and we're still doing a lot of load movement with the ball, obviously, based off the weight you choose, of course. But it is external load at the end of the day, and it is keeping you moving, and it's forcing you to have some level of control. So it just fits perfectly with what we're trying to do here. And then you got the ski erging in the middle. So how this is going to work is you're going to do a 4-minute EMOM, calories biked. You then, whatever time you have left, you get to rest, of course. So if it only takes you 3 minutes, 15 seconds, you get 45 seconds of rest. You're then going to have a 90-second clock for the calories or the meters skied. So you're going to move to your ski erg, somewhere between 200 and 350 meters in that 90 seconds. Once that 90 seconds is over, you'll go to your next 4-minute EMOM, and you'll just keep ping-ponging between 4-minute EMOM, 90-second clock, 4-minute EMOM, 90-second clock, and ski erg. And you'll go through this entire thing 2 times. Which is 44 minutes. So this is one of those ones that is just high volume. You have lots of flexibility in what you can do and what you're trying to achieve. So you guys, again, have the advantage of watching these videos, which I appreciate. Like, it's obvious these things are working. Like, you guys seem like you're far more knowledgeable, and a lot of you guys that watch these consistently ask way more thorough questions and just more detailed or layered questions. So you guys get to walk into here, hopefully having a grand plan on how you intend on approaching this. Besides the people, unlike the people who show up 6 minutes into the warm-up. So kudos to you guys for watching this. If you have any questions, obviously holler. I know this is the day before Christmas Eve. I'll end on this. Christmas Eve, we are still open, and we're doing the 12 days of Christmas workout, which we do every single year before Christmas Eve normally. But because of the 12 days of fitness that we're doing, this worked really well. And who doesn't want to work on Christmas Eve anyways?